There is no accident in your presence here today. You have been led to this moment, not by chance, but by the silent working of your own imagination. The world you see before you is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you have entertained. And now I tell you, your time has come. You are no longer waiting. The millions you seek are already yours. But you must first accept this truth, not with the rational mind that questions and doubts, but with the inner knowing that what you claim within must manifest without. You do not need to chase, beg, or toil endlessly for your wealth. The moment you assume yourself to be the one who has it, the entire universe conspires to make it so. See yourself now as the one who has already received. Feel the weight of success pressing upon you, the joy of financial freedom coursing through your being. Walk through this world as one who has no lack, no need, no limitation. Because what you assume with conviction becomes the law of your life. If you persist in the feeling of already having, it is impossible for the world not to comply. Doubt not. Let no external appearance shake you. If today your senses tell you a different story, ignore them. Do not look at the world and say, I am still waiting. Instead, say to yourself boldly, it is done. Gratitude is the bridge. Speak as if you are already in possession of your wealth. Say, I am so thankful for the millions flowing into my life. I feel the abundance surrounding me. Speak it until your words become flesh. The path is already laid before you. Your time is no longer in some distant future. Your time is now. Walk in faith, claim your millions within, and watch as the world bends to fulfill your assumption. Everything you see, touch, and experience in this world is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts you have persistently held within. The reality you call real is in truth nothing but a shadow cast by your imagination. There is no outside force shaping your life, no external authority deciding whether you will have wealth or struggle. The only determining factor is the state of consciousness you choose to occupy. You are not separate from your desires. The millions you seek are not something outside of you waiting for the right conditions to appear. They already exist, but they must first exist within you before they can take shape in the physical world. The moment you assume and accept wealth as your reality, the outer world must rearrange itself to mirror that assumption. There is no other way. So the mistake many make is in believing that their imagination is simply a form of fantasy, an escape from reality. But this is the great misunderstanding. Imagination is the only reality because it is the source of all things. Everything that exists, every building, every piece of technology, every fortune ever made, first existed in someone's imagination before it took form. Nothing comes into being unless it is first claimed in the unseen. So what does this mean for you? It means that you must assume the state of the millionaire now before your senses confirm it. You must walk as though wealth is already yours, speak as though you already have it, and think from the position of one who possesses limitless abundance. If you continue to believe that you must work towards it, or that it is something you may have one day, you will forever push it into the future, to live in the end. See yourself in possession of the millions. What does your life look like now that you have it? Where do you live? How do you feel? Who do you help? The clearer you define this reality within, the faster it solidifies in the external world. Do not concern yourself with the how or when. The bridge of incidents will unfold naturally, in ways you cannot predict. But that is not your work. Your work is to hold the assumption firmly, unshaken by any contradiction, in the present moment. Doubt is the only thing that delays the process. If you look at your current circumstances and allow them to dictate your belief, you have made the outer world your master instead of the servant it was meant to be. The physical world only reflects. It does not create. To change the reflection, you must change what is projected from within. Your millions are already here waiting for you to accept them the moment you embody the feeling of being wealthy. The moment you claim it as your truth, the world must comply. The law is simple. What you assume and persist in must harden into fact. So assume wisely, persist faithfully, and let the world conform to the reality you have created within. The greatest deception in this world is the belief that time separates you from your desires. You have been conditioned to think in terms of waiting, striving, and earning, believing that what you seek is always in the future, just out of reach. But this is an illusion. The truth is that there is no separation between you and your desires except the belief that they are not yet yours. The moment you claim something is true within, it is yours, for creation is finished, and everything already exists in the unseen. When you desire wealth, you are not creating it from nothing. You are simply becoming aware of what already exists in another dimension of reality. It is not something that must be built over time, achieved through struggle, or brought forth by external conditions. Your millions exist now, but they can only become visible when you assume the state of already having them. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law by which all things come into being. Most people delay their blessings by constantly acknowledging their current limitations. They believe that their bank account, job, or circumstances dictate what is possible, but the outer world is just a reflection of past assumptions. If you continue to dwell on the lack, if you keep telling yourself that wealth is coming one day, you are unknowingly pushing it away. You must take possession now, not tomorrow, not next year, but in this very moment. How do you do this? You shift your awareness. Right now, close your eyes and imagine yourself already in possession of great wealth. Feel the joy, the relief, the confidence that comes with knowing you have more than enough. Hear the conversations you would have. Experience the ease with which you move through life. This is not daydreaming, this is the creative act. When you persist in this state, it must become your external reality, for the world cannot help but mirror what you are conscious of being. Doubt is the only thing that delays manifestation. The mind, conditioned by time, will ask, but where is it? Why hasn't it appeared yet? These questions keep you bound to the illusion that you are separate from your desire. The truth is that your assumption is already working. The unseen forces are moving, aligning circumstances, creating the path. But if you look at the world and say nothing is happening, you are stepping out of the state of having and back into the state of waiting. There is nothing to wait for. Your wealth exists now, and it belongs to you the moment you accept it. You must not concern yourself with how it will come or when it will appear. Trust in the law. That which you assume and persist in must become fact. When you embrace this truth and live from it, time will dissolve, and what once seemed distant will be right before you. The promise is now. Claim it. The greatest barrier between you and your desires is the need to control how and when they appear. You have been taught to believe that success comes through effort, strategy, and external action. But this is a misunderstanding of how reality works. Your wealth, your abundance, already exists, but it cannot reach you as long as you are consumed with figuring out how it will come and when it will happen. The moment you let go of these questions and rest in the certainty of already having, the unseen forces will move in ways beyond your comprehension to bring it to you. The mind, conditioned by logic and limitation, wants a step-by-step process. It seeks reassurance, asking, what do I need to do? How will this happen? But these questions arise from doubt, and doubt is the only thing that delays manifestation. When you truly understand the power of your assumption, you will no longer need to ask how or when. You will know that once you claim something in consciousness, it must appear in your world. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust that nature is at work, even though you cannot see the process unfolding beneath the soil. The same principle applies to your desires. The moment you assume yourself to be wealthy, the moment you feel it as true, the process has begun. But if you constantly question whether it is working, if you look around and say, I don't see anything changing, you are uprooting the seed before it has a chance to grow. The unseen forces, those greater laws that govern all of existence, will move in ways you cannot predict. Your job is not to force the path, but to remain faithful to the end result. Your millions could come through an unexpected opportunity, a sudden breakthrough, or a sequence of events you could never have orchestrated. But these events cannot unfold if you insist on micromanaging the process. The moment you let go, you open the door for the universe to work on your behalf. Detachment is not about giving up. It is about trusting completely. It means releasing the need to manipulate circumstances and instead resting in the knowing that what you have assumed must come to pass. It means walking through life as if your wealth is already here, not anxiously searching for proof, but living in the confidence of already having it. If you find yourself doubting, remind yourself, I do not need to know how or when. My only work is to assume the feeling of already having and trust the unseen to arrange the details. The moment you detach from the process, things will begin to shift. Paths will open, people will be drawn to you, and circumstances will adjust in ways you could not have imagined. Trust this, let go of control. Let the unseen forces move mountains on your behalf, for they will, if only you allow them. Wealth is not something you pursue, it is something you embody. The moment you believe wealth is outside of you, something to chase, it will always remain just out of reach. But when you understand that wealth is a state of being, you shift from striving to receiving. You do not become wealthy through effort alone. You become wealthy by assuming the identity of one who already possesses it. Everything in your life is a reflection of the state of consciousness you consistently occupy. If you see yourself as someone who is struggling, if you speak about lack, if you constantly affirm that money is difficult to obtain, then your world will reflect that belief. But the moment you assume the identity of a wealthy person, not in arrogance, but in certainty, your external world will have no choice but to conform. Ask yourself, how does a millionaire think? How do they carry themselves? What are their daily habits, their thoughts, their actions? They do not walk with hesitation. They move with confidence. They do not speak about lack, they affirm abundance. They do not look at price tags with fear, they know money is a resource that flows to them effortlessly. If you truly believe that wealth is already yours, your entire demeanor will shift. Start by adjusting the way you speak. Words shape reality, for they reveal the beliefs you hold. Stop saying, I can't afford this, or I wish I had more money. Instead affirm, money flows to me easily, or I always have more than enough. Even if your external circumstances seem unchanged, hold firm in this new language, for it is planting the seeds of a different reality. Then, shift the way you walk. Confidence is a sign of wealth. A wealthy person does not rush in desperation. They move with certainty, knowing that everything they desire is already theirs. Stand taller, breathe deeply, and embody the presence of one who has already achieved success. The world responds not to what you wish, but to what you are, and you must become it internally before it manifests externally. Next, align your thinking. Wealthy individuals do not dwell on problems. They focus on solutions. They do not see obstacles as roadblocks, but as stepping stones to greater abundance. When faced with financial challenges, ask yourself, how would a millionaire handle this, and act accordingly? Instead of shrinking in fear, step forward in faith, knowing that you have already won. Your external world is simply a mirror of the state you persist in. If you continuously occupy the mindset of one who already has millions, the world must arrange itself to match that assumption. This is not theory, it is law. Let go of the belief that wealth is something distant, something that requires years of struggle. Assume it now. Live as though it is already yours, and reality will reshape itself to prove you right. You are not waiting to become wealthy, you already are. Walk, speak, and think accordingly. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is persistence. What you assume to be true, what you repeatedly claim within, must by law manifest in your outer world. But the mistake most people make is abandoning their assumption too soon. They look around, see no immediate evidence, and let doubt creep in. Doubt is the only enemy. It is the force that keeps you bound to your old reality, preventing the new from taking form. You must understand that the world you see is simply a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, past assumptions. If you have spent years believing in struggle, in limitation, then your external world will still reflect that for a time, even after you change your assumptions. But that does not mean your new reality is not forming. The unseen forces are at work, arranging circumstances, aligning opportunities, shifting the very fabric of your existence. The only thing that can stop this process is your own impatience, your own wavering in belief. Think of a seed planted in the soil. It does not sprout the moment you place it there. Days, even weeks may pass before you see evidence of growth. But the process has begun the moment you planted it. If you were to dig it up every day, questioning if it is working, you would destroy its ability to grow. The same is true for your assumptions. The moment you assume something is true, truly feel it to be real, the process begins. But if you waver, if you return to your old doubts, you halt its progress. Your only task is to persist until it hardens into fact. No matter what the outer world shows you, hold firm in your inner assumption. If your bank account still shows lack, ignore it. If circumstances seem unchanged, persist. The world has no choice but to conform to your dominant state of consciousness, but you must remain faithful to it. Many people give up just before the breakthrough. They assume wealth, they feel it, they begin to see small changes, but then a challenge arises and they fall back into fear, into worry, into doubt. They let the external world dictate their inner state, instead of understanding that their inner state is what dictates the external. This is why persistence is everything. How long must you persist? Until it is real, until the outer world bends to match your assumption. It does not matter how long it takes. What matters is that you do not waver. You do not check for evidence. You do not question. You do not seek validation from the world. You remain firm in the knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. This is the secret. Not wishful thinking, not hoping, not trying. It is knowing and persisting in that knowing until it takes form. Doubt delays, fear repels, but persistence creates. Hold your vision, and reality will be forced to conform. It is law. Gratitude is the final key that seals your reality. When you are truly grateful, you confirm that you already possess what you desire. You do not beg for it, nor do you wonder if it will come. You know it is yours. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is the ultimate act of faith. It is the silent yet powerful declaration that you have already received, And in that confirmation, you accelerate the arrival of your desire into the physical world. Most people express gratitude only after they receive something. But this is backward thinking. Gratitude must come before the manifestation, not after. If you wait to be grateful only when you see evidence, then you are still operating from doubt. You are still assuming that what you want is separate from you. But when you are grateful in advance, you are stepping into the state of already having, already being, already possessing. And when you persist in that state, the world must rearrange itself to prove you right. Think of how you feel when you have already received something wonderful. There is no anxiety, no doubt, no impatience, just peace and joy. That feeling is the vibration of having, and it is what draws your desire to you faster than anything else. When you say, "Thank you for my financial abundance," even when your bank account says otherwise, you are making a declaration. You are telling the universe, "I know it is already done. I am already that person." Many people unknowingly delay their blessings because they are too focused on when and how their desire will come. They keep checking, worrying, questioning. But gratitude dissolves all of that. The moment you step into gratitude, you release the need to control. You are no longer concerned with the how because you already know it is yours. This trust creates the perfect conditions for manifestation, allowing unseen forces to move without resistance. Gratitude also shifts your focus from lack to abundance. When you dwell on what you don't have, you amplify that reality. But when you focus on what you do have, even if it is only in imagination, you align yourself with more abundance. You train your mind to see opportunities, to recognize wealth, to expect success. And as you persist in this awareness, it must externalize. Each morning, before you even open your eyes, affirm, "Thank you for the millions that are already mine." Feel the joy as if it has already happened. Walk through your day in that energy, knowing that it is unfolding perfectly. Let gratitude be your proof that your reality is already shifting. This is not wishful thinking, it is law. You do not receive and then give thanks. You give thanks and then you receive. The moment you make gratitude your default state, you step into the life that was always meant for you. It is already yours. Everything you desire already exists. The wealth, the success, the abundance. It is not something you must chase, beg for, or force into being. It is something you must claim. Your imagination is the only reality, and what you persist in assuming must become your experience. Time is an illusion. The moment you accept your wealth in consciousness, it is already yours. You do not need to know how or when. Your only task is to trust. Live in the state of already having. Think and walk as one who possesses millions. And persist until the world bends to match your inner conviction. Doubt is the only enemy, and gratitude is the final seal that confirms your reality. When you are grateful in advance, you accelerate the arrival of all you desire. Now, step forward with certainty. The wealth you seek is not in some distant future. It is here, now. Assume it, feel it, give thanks for it, and watch as it materializes in ways you could never have imagined. Your time has come. You will have millions. Thank you.